Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I have a very easy crochet design for you. I'm currently wearing them here in my hair. I'm going to show you how to make one of these Tunisian crochet hair ties. You can make this with any yarn that you want, but for this design I used all my yarn scrap. It's a great way to use up all the scraps in your yarn stash and make a very fun and pretty colorful hair tie. So I will show you exactly how to turn all of your yarn scraps into one of these little hair ties. And again, you can make it with just plain yarn as well, following this exact same tutorial. For this tutorial, you are going to need just a simple hair tie as well as a 5mm crochet hook. You do not need to go purchase a Tunisian crochet hook. Because this project is so small, you can use this just standard hook size. All that you need to make sure is that the hook you're using does not have a rubber grip handle, and the entire hook is just one solid metal bar, so we can actually work onto this hook. But you don't need to get anything bigger than like a standard size hook. And then you're also going to need some yarn. So for this design, I'm using multicolor scrap yarn that I had made out of my yarn scraps. I will link the video down below for the tutorial I have on how to make this ball of yarn out of yarn scraps. You technically can make this hair tie with any color yarn. You can just use a solid color, but for this design, I think it looks so pretty and cool when you use that multicolor yarn. It's just a really fun pop of color. So that's what I'm going to be using, and if you want to use multicolor yarn as well, then I recommend following the tutorial in my description and then making yourself a skein of yarn like this before we begin making the hair tie. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just cast on with a slip knot like so, and now I'm going to chain 12. I'm just doing normal chain 12, so I'm not doing anything fancy, just chaining 12 like so. And now I'm simply going to chain 2 more to act as our turning chain. So now I'm going to take my chain and I'm going to kind of twist it. So I'm looking at the back of the chain here, and you can see at the back of the chain that there's another sort of loop of yarn. So at the front you could just go right into this top loop, but if we twist our chain, you'll see there's this sort of back loop here that connects the chains, and these are the loops that we want to work into. So you take your chain, you rotate it until you find that second loop that's at the back of the chain. And so I'm going to go past the first 2 stitches here, rotate my work, and go right into that third one, picking up that back loop of the chain stitch. I'm now going to pick up some yarn and pull it right through. So I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm keeping those loops on the looser side. And I'm going to go now into my next sort of back loop of that chain stitch, and I'm going to insert my hook, scoop up some yarn, and pull it through. So I should have 3 loops on my hook, again a little bit on the looser side. I'm going to do the same thing with the 4th little chain bump or loop here. So there's 4 loops, and then again for 5, and you just want to repeat this all the way down the chain. So you should have 12 loops by the time you're done. So I'm just picking up these sort of back loops or bumps of the chain, picking up some yarn and pulling it through to add that loop to our already growing collection until I have 12 loops on my hook. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 loops around my hook, and we collected all of these loops from our chain. So now we can go ahead and finish off our first row. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some yarn, and I'm going to pull that yarn through just the first loop on my hook, like so. And then I'm going to pick up some more yarn, and this time I'm going to pull it through the first 2 loops on my hook, like so. Pick up some more yarn and pull it through the next 2 loops, and for the remainder of these loops I'm just going to work in groups of 2. So I'm going to pick up some yarn, pull it through 2 loops, pick up some yarn, pull it through 2 loops. And again, I'm keeping my tension a little bit on the looser side because you want a nice loose material or stitch. So I'm just constantly going through 2 loops at a time to complete our very first row of Tunisian crochet. And go through 2 loops. And if you're using scrap yarn like myself, there will be some times you run into these little tiny knots here, and whenever you run into that knot, you just act like it doesn't exist and just continue crocheting, and those knots will just work themselves right into the project. So here I have my last 2 loops, and if this is all lined up correctly, you should have 2 loops at the end of your hook, so you can finish with just pulling through 2 loops like so. So this is what that first row should be looking like. And now to start our second row, I'm going to skip past this very first bar here because this already counts as our first stitch. So I'm skipping past that one, and I'm going to work into the next bar. And what we're going to look at is sort of the post of the stitch. And you can see here that there's sort of a vertical line right at that post. So all I'm going to do is insert my hook right into that vertical line or loop, and then pick up some yarn and pull it through like so. And then we're going to go right to the next post here, and you'll find another vertical line. Inserting my hook, I'm going to pull that yarn through. And I'm going to repeat this all the way down. So I'm just finding the vertical lines that make up each of my stitches. And you can easily see them if you just look at the post of the crochet. You'll see all of these vertical lines or loops of yarn. And you can just insert your hook right under them and then pick up a loop of yarn and place it onto your hook. And at the end of this row, you should have 12 loops. So just make sure you're counting, especially as you're learning this stitch, to make sure you aren't missing any loops or accidentally dropping a stitch. I currently have 11 loops on my hook, and now at this last spot here, the vertical line is going to be that very last line of our row. So I'm going to insert my hook right into that very last line there, like so, and pick up some yarn. So I now have 12 loops on my hook, and now we're going to repeat this just like we did before. So I start the row by just pulling through one loop. So I yarned over, and I'm going to pull through one. And now we can start working in groups of 2. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and again, you want to keep your yarn a little bit looser. It just makes this a lot easier to do, and it makes the fabric or the material a lot more malleable, and it keeps it from curling. So try to keep your tension a little bit on the looser side. So there's our second row completed, and now we're going to go ahead and start row 3. So just like before, I'm going to skip past this very first strand of yarn that's like right flush with the hook, and I'm going to go and find my first vertical line here, insert my hook under that line of yarn, pick up some yarn, and create a loop. And I'm going to work my way all the way down this row, just placing my hook behind those vertical strands of yarn and picking up loops onto my hook. So, and then again in this last stitch, I'm going to find my last vertical line in the very end of the row with this very last bit of yarn here. So now I have 12 loops on my hook, and now I can repeat this process. Pick up some yarn, pull it through that first one loop by itself, and now we can work in groups of 2. Pick up some yarn, pull through 2, oops, there we go, pull through 2, pull through 2, and that is all there is to it. So each one of these courses where we pick up some loops and then pull our yarn back through those loops is completing just one row of our Tunisian crochet hair tie. And you'll see here the front has kind of a knitted texture, and then the back has a little bit of a pearl texture, which is really cool. It's a fun way to emulate a knitted look when you're just crocheting. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on making these little rows of Tunisian crochet until I've completed 38 rows. You want to do anywhere between like 38 and maybe like 43, depending on how big your hair tie is and how sort of compact you want your hair tie or scrunchie to end up being. But I'm going to go ahead and do about 38 rows, just repeating this exact same style of Tunisian crochet and building up all of these rows like so. And I'm going to just pull through one loop, and then pull through 2 loops, and then pull through 2 and 2, and work my way all the way down to complete this row. And then just repeat this process for about 38 rows, which I'm going to go ahead and do off camera, and I will be back once I've completed all 38 rows of this little Tunisian crochet project. So I've now completed about 38 rows here, which is the length that I want for my hair tie. So we're going to go ahead and turn it into the actual hair tie now. So with this project, there's a very clear right and then wrong side. The right side has that sort of knitted look, and the wrong side has that sort of pearl stitch look. So I'm going to fold this together so that the wrong side is face up like so. And I'm just going to pinch both the start and the end of my project together like this. And now all I'm going to do is chain 1. And now lining up both edges, I'm going to go through this first stitch here at the very far right corner, and then go through that exact same stitch on the other side. So I should have that very far right corner stitch of both the front and the back, or the start and the end of my project, on my hook. And now I'm going to slip stitch. So I'm going to take the yarn, pick it up, and pull it through every single loop on my hook. I'm pulling it through those 2 stitches as well as the last loop on my hook here. And now I'm going to go into the second stitch. So I'm going into the second stitch on the front part, or the first part here. And now I'm going to find that second stitch on the back, like so, making sure it's lined up. I'm going to pick up my yarn and slip stitch by pulling it through every single loop on my hook, like so. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing with the third stitch, going to the third stitch there, and the third stitch on the back, like so. I'm going to pick up my yarn and pull it through every single stitch on my hook, like so, or loop on my hook. And then doing the same thing for the 4th stitch. So all I'm doing here is just slip stitching these 2 sides together, making sure it's all lined up as I go, and I'm basically just sewing the edges together to create one full loop. So I'm just going to keep on going with these stitches lined up, slip stitching them together. And a good thing to note is as you're slip stitching, you want to keep your tension a little bit on the looser side, because if your tension is too tight, it's going to kind of pull these stitches together and bunch it up and make it look all ripply. So you want to have a little bit of looser stitches as you work your way down, slip stitching both sides together. So now that I have slip stitched all the way down that entire side, you can see here that we've made a nice circle or tube shape. So I'm not going to cast off, I'm just going to go ahead and chain 1 like so, because now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fold this around our hair tie. So again, we should have the wrong side face up, so that way as we fold it around, the right side will become the front of our hair tie. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our simple black hairband here and just place it sort of right in the center of this strip of fabric, and all I'm going to do is pull this through and kind of fold it around the hair tie like so. At first it's going to be a little bit tricky getting that first stitch done, but once you have those first few stitches in place, it'll be a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach across to this side of my hairband and pick up that first stitch after the slip stitch. So this first stitch here, and then making sure that hairband is on my hook, I'm going to then go across and pick up the first stitch after the slip stitch on this side like so, and I'm simply going to slip stitch. So I'm going to pick up that yarn, pull it through the hairband, both stitches on my hook, and the loop on my hook as well. So that very first stitch has now encased the hair tie into what is going to be our scrunchie or multicolor hairband, and we're just going to keep doing this with all of the stitches. So I'm going to go ahead now and go into my second stitch, making sure my hook is going kind of through that hairband, and then pick up the second stitch on this side, and I'm going to slip stitch like so, and then do the same thing with the third stitch, lining everything up, picking up that yarn and slip stitching. And we're just going to repeat this around the entire hair tie. So by the time you're done with this, you should have this entire hair tie encased in this little crochet strip that we made. So I'm just going to keep on slip stitching all the way around, slowly encasing our hairband or hair tie in this fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up with a lot of slip stitches, lining it up to the best of my ability, going into the next stitch here on both sides and slip stitching, and I'm going to keep on going until I've worked my way all the way around this hair tie, closing this up into a tube around the hair tie. So now that I've slip stitched all the way around, there's a hair tie inside of here, so it's nice and stretchy, and it's all secured all the way around with these slip stitches. I'm going to go ahead and cast off. So I'm going to grab my scissors, I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail behind, and I'm going to pull my hook until that yarn pops right through and give it a little tug to lock it in place, like so. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab a darning needle, and now all I have left to do is weave in these loose ends. So I'm going to just thread this loose end right through my needle, and I'm going to do my best to kind of weave in the loose ends within the hair tie. So as I'm going through, I'm sort of really tucking that needle inside so you don't see the loose ends on the outside. And I make sure to go back and forth and in a couple different directions just to make sure it's really securely placed in there, especially because hair ties are going to get a lot of wear and tear. You're going to be tugging on it a lot and twisting it a lot. You really want to make sure those loose ends are securely embedded into this hair tie. And once you are confident of the placement of that loose end, you can go ahead and cut it as close to the project as you can without cutting the project itself. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with our second loose end. I'm going to go ahead and cut my second loose end again as close to the project as I possibly can. And now here is that finished little hair tie. This is what it looks like. Super cute. You can stretch them over twice if you want to tie that around a ponytail or at the end of a braid, but I find they look the cutest when I just do a bun in the back of my head and then place this right around the bun. So that is exactly how you're going to turn your scraps into a hair tie. And so here are what those finished hair ties look like. You can just take them, like I said, and wrap them just right around a braid like so for a really fun, colorful accessory. I currently have 2 braids, so I can make 2 of these hair ties and get a really fun just pop of color like so, which I think is really pretty. And as I said in the tutorial, you can make this fabric even longer, and the more fabric you add to it, the more it's going to kind of bunch up and give you a more ripply or ruffly scrunchy look. You can even make the fabric wider too. You can make it way more puffy, way more more wide and ruffly. You can really play around with it. But I hope that you liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. If you did enjoy this tutorial, I have so many other crochet videos here on my channel. If you like crochet, you like my tutorials, then I highly encourage you to subscribe to this channel. And just watching this video all the way through are the very best ways you can support me. So thank you so much for doing that. You are the reason I'm able to continue making these tutorials. And if you have anything you'd like to see me make or talk about in the crochet realm, leave that in the comments down below as well. If you want more Tunisian crochet tutorials, let me know as well. This is the first one I've ever made in Tunisian crochet. Otherwise, I will see you again soon. I hope you have a blessed couple of days until I see you. Goodbye.